Well, today ESPN is presenting the ESPN Pick the Winning Chevy Sweepstake. You'll have your choice to win a 91 Chevy Lumina, the two-door coupe, four-door sedan, the APV, or the fabulous new Z34. To enter, call 1-900-933-9300 before the halfway lap. You'll be asked your phone number and the number of the Chevy car completing in the race which you think will be the first Chevy to finish. The winners will be selected at a random drawing of correct entries and announced in our next Chevy Sweepstakes coming up later this year. Call in to win right now, 1-900-933-9300. In-car cameras today. Phillips 66 in-car camera being carried by Lake Speed as he and the rest of the field now is approaching turn number 3, and the champion spark plug in-car camera also will be carried in Michael Waltrip's car today. Here comes the field off of corner number 3. A long front straightaway here, 3,740 feet. They begin to build up speed, led by Mark Martin, and here is the green flag, and the champion spark plug 500 is underway. This front stretch is not only very long, it's very wide, and we'll see 3, 4, and sometimes 5 abreast racing down through here, Ned.
Yes, but when they get into turn 1, they need to narrow down to at least 2 wide, preferably to 1 wide, but on the first lap, they are going to go 2 wide as Mark Martin gets out in front. Here comes Ernie Irvan trying to take the measure of Alan Kowicki.
This is the Long Pond straightaway, 3,055 feet in length, headed now for what they call the tunnel turn. There is a tunnel for cars to go in and out of the infield. Right there, you see them cross over it. Now they come on to another straightaway, which is 1,780 feet in length, setting up for this relatively flat turn number 3, which is only 6 degrees in banking. Mark Martin is the leader of the race. That's Ernie Irvan running up in second position as they come off of turn number 3 and head for the completion of lap number 1. Back in third, making a bid for second place is Ken Schrader, then Ricky Rudd, Derek Cope, and Alan Kowicki. There's the champion spark plug in-car camera carried by Michael Waltrip.
And you can see how far back in the field Alan Kowicki from his outside pole starting position, Bob. He got on the outside going into turn 1 and just couldn't get back in line and dropped way back in the pack.
And there is Ken Schrader moving into second position, and Ricky Rudd will try to move into third spot, and he does, as the number 4 car of Ernie Irvan is kicked back a couple of positions. And now Derek Cope looking for the spot.
Yeah, he did the same thing. He got on the outside coming off of turn 1. He gets a little high coming off of turn 2, and here Derek Cope gets on the inside of him. Apparently his car pushing a little bit, that of the car number 4.
And here comes the 7 car of Alan Kowicki. So Ernie Irvan having some problems here in the early going as he has lost 3 positions now just in this lap. Mark Martin continues to lead as they come down with about a 12 or 15 car length advantage on Ken Schrader. Back in third is Ricky Rudd, then Cope, then Irvan. Alan Kowicki is next, and then Rusty Wallace. Michael Waltrip right behind Rusty Wallace.
Looks like Ernie Irvan might have got his line straightened out a little bit in the car number 4 and is able to keep it a little bit lower on the track now. But Mark Martin trying to stretch it out a little bit. And Bob, he used in qualifying and setting the track record here a different kind of a transmission than what you normally see used on an oval course. Very seldom do you ever see them change gears once they get into 4th gear on an oval course. But because of the slower point up in turn 3, they used a Jericho transmission and had the gear ratio so that he's probably in 3rd gear coming off of there right now. Now he'll switch to 4th about the start-finish line.
And I believe he did the same thing last year when he qualified for this race. Well, as you probably have noticed, Benny is not with us today. His wife Connie is gravely ill at Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. Our thoughts, our prayers are with you today, Benny. May God grant you the strength you need to endure these very difficult times. Now we begin to see Ken Schrader pull in on, and a spin. There's Rick Mast down in the infield grass. In turn number 1, gets the car into the grass and off the racetrack, but Rick Mast has spun here, and it could bring out our first caution, but we don't see any movement to that flag down below us. Doyle Ford not making any movement, so we may not have a yellow.
Evidently they're going to, since he got back on the racetrack, the only thing he might have kicked some debris up on the track, a little dirt and maybe some gravels, but as John Kernan mentioned, the radial tires are not as subject to puncture as the bias ply tires. Let's see if we can see what happened. Rick was the 2nd round fastest qualifier. and it looked like he got touched maybe just a little bit. Joe Ruttman in car number 75, as Rick was right on the back bumper of Bobby Hillen in the car number 42, the car normally driven by Kyle Petty. So it sends Rick around. Apparently no great damage to his car.
And we will have no yellow as the field comes down and completes another lap. And we are still under green. I was about to say that Ken Schrader was moving in on Mark Martin, and indeed he is. Meanwhile, back in the pack a little bit, there's the king of the mileage, Harry Gant in car number 33, and last week's winner, Davey Allison. But Allison sees some traffic in his rearview mirror as Terry Labonte and some other drivers sneak up on him.
Yeah, Bill Elliott tried to go on the outside of Labonte, but that didn't work, and now Elliott's going to lose several positions as Sterling Marlin goes by in car number 22. Here comes Hut Strickland in car number 12, moving on the inside of Bill Elliott. So, Bob, right now, the inside line is definitely the best line.
Harry Gant running in 10th position and Davey Allison in 11th. And in this group of cars, Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott and others. There's Hut Strickland on the inside line coming down the straightaway.
Bob, it looks like Rick Mast problems are continuing. He will be black flagged. Apparently has a header dragging that perhaps was dragged off when he got on the curbing down on the inside when he spun around.
And there's Dale Earnhardt moving up. That's Jeff Bodine on the outside of him in 97, and Hut Strickland right behind him as they head toward turn number 2. Dale Earnhardt with not a particularly good qualifying effort, starting 21st, but already he has moved up to 15th.
That's no big surprise that he would move up that quickly, Bob. I mentioned at the top of the show that he said he wrecked in 3 turns. He didn't literally wreck, but to use the driver's turn, he said, when I got into turn 1, said I wrecked, but I got it straightened out. I got in turn 2, I wrecked twice, and I got in turn 3, I wrecked 3 times.
But you can bet that Earnhardt will be strong during the race, and there's 500 miles to go. Now we begin to see the drafting line form, so to speak, down into turn number 1. Here comes Harry Gant moving up a position. He goes to 9th, passing Michael Waltrip. There are your first 3, Mark Martin, Ken Schrader, and the number 5 car of Ricky Rudd. And now Schrader really closing in on Mark and may make a bid here in the tunnel turn.
Well, he has to back off once to get into that turn. He pulled the nose up there, but Martin goes a little high, so here he comes, just driving by.
Mark Martin got his Ford a little bit high coming out of the second corner, and he is being passed by now 4 cars. He drops from 1st back to 5th.
Apparently he got just a little bit high going into that turn, Bob, and maybe got his right side tires on the loose stuff. They really have only run in the bottom groove so far, so haven't worked too much of a second groove out, and he got a little high and it slipped. Look at him, 3, 4 and breast jockeying around back there. We see Davey Allison and several other cars jockeying around for position.
So now Ken Schrader has the lead of this race, and Ricky Rudd is in second, followed by Cope, then Irvin, then Mark Martin. A great crowd on hand here this afternoon as the grandstands are full and several thousand more have jammed the infield here in Pocono. And we're riding with Michael Waltrip in the champion spark plug in-car camera. Here is the tunnel turn, now headed down the straightaway of 1,780 feet. Let's go to Jerry Punch with an update on Mark Martin.
Just spoke with Steve Mill a minute ago. He said the car is pushing significantly. The sun has gone behind the clouds. It has cooled off here about 10 degrees since the beginning of the race, and the car apparently pushing is very, very tight, particularly coming from the middle of the corner out of turn 3, so the car gets very high. He's going to be pretty easy to pass for a while until the car comes back to him. Bob?
All right, we'll continue to watch for that. And by the way, as we go to our in-car camera now and then, if the picture begins to break up, that's because our helicopter can't get very high here this afternoon because of what appears to be some storm clouds that are gathering on the horizon. So that will explain why the in-car camera won't perhaps be as clear sometimes as it normally is. You can see it breaking up there slightly on the Phillips 66 in-car camera. Welcome to Pocono International Raceway, and again, happy Father's Day. We hope you enjoy our race this afternoon. We'll be back with more of our live coverage after this.